Here we are 3 years later, 2 restaurants, 52 miles apart, causing me headaches. I'm Mark Poynton from Mark Poynton at Caistor Hall and Ancient Shepherds by Mark Poynton, and today I'm going to show you 4 dishes from 2 restaurants. Let's go. Set up the Ancient Shepherds 5 years ago, that was in COVID.
Snacks away for 3.
And during that period, my good friend Nick Mills bought Caistor Hall Hotel.
Service, please.
And for some bizarre reason, he chose me to go into partnership with him. Caistor Hall Hotel is in an old Victorian manor house, so we're sympathetic to those surroundings and the style in the grand hall. Big tables, banquette seating, nice and comfy. First dish we're going to be cooking today is Norfolk black chicken and Suffolk copper Wellington. Chef Byron's over there. And Chef Byron is going to cook this for us.
So we have a Norfolk black chicken pativier. I'm just going to put it in the oven for 16 minutes. Onto a hot tray to make sure we get a nice crust at the bottom. So we take the thighs, debone them, brine them, and 10% brine, and then we just slowly cook them, and then we just press them to keep nice shape, and then during service we put them on a plancha, skin side down, with a weight on top, just to get a really nice crisp skin.
For the salad we have some nice bitter leaves from Charlie's Veg, just down the road. So we got Castelfranco, frisee lettuce, radicchio, 2 different types of chicory, nice fresh chervil, and a nice little version of celeriac remoulade.
And we just lightly dress it with quite a classic dressing, bit of honey, bit of vinegar, olive oil, and that's about it.
Some Suffolk copper, pickled celeriac, pickled onions.
And then we just finish with the leaves. It's just quite natural. And then just as before we go, we just give it a light dressing just over the top.
Chicken's local, it's an amazing product and it's full of flavour. Tastes like chicken used to, like people used to say. And it's a proper ingredient that everyone can use, so if someone can take something from it, it's even better.
As you can see inside, the bottom is the brined breast. On top is a mousse of mushroom duxelle, some chopped herbs, and the Suffolk copper, which has been diced up. Served with celeriac puree. We also fold in some chicken skin butter that we make with all the skin from the whole chickens. So there we have our Norfolk black chicken with celeriac and Suffolk copper.
So next dish is a cheese sharing course. It's Mr. Temple's Binham Blue from North Norfolk with a spiralised, caramelised Granny Smith apple.
So the first step is we make a caramel. Just put water and sugar, and then take it up to quite a dark caramel, and then add in 10% butter right at the end. So now we have the dark caramel, just going to pour it into the moulds. For our bread course, we serve a Marmite and treacle sourdough. All the leftover bread we have, we try not to waste it, so we make a paste out of that, and then we spread it on a slip mat and put some seeds and stuff on top of it to serve with our cheese course. We then bake these just to dry them out and crisp them up. So we have large Granny Smith apples here. We just take our time to make sure that we peel them, retain them the shape. So the reason we use the Granny Smith apple is it holds its shape while we cook it, compared to other apples that might break down whilst cooking. And we're going to spiralise it on this Japanese vegetable machine. Just making sure we put even pressure so we get a nice long sheet. So the next stage, now once we spiralised it and got this lovely long sheet, we're just going to roll it back upon itself, making sure to roll it back in its natural shape. So that's now rolled. I'm going to cut this in half and then just dry it out for around 6 hours, just to take away the excess water, so when we bake it again, it gets a really nice caramelisation. So all the excess from the Granny Smith apples, we save up, and then we also grate a bit more just to bulk it out. And then we cook it down in a pretty much natural, but with a tiny bit of sugar. And then just for where we've got these holes, to fill them up to get a nice even amount. So now we've got a set caramel. The apples have been drying out, so nice and dry, ready to go in the pots. Just put them in, and then we cover them with tin foil. And then just make a little hole in the middle to let off some steam. So then we just place this in the oven at 190 degrees on a really hot tray, heavy duty tray, just to get the caramelisation going for around about 10 to 12 minutes.
So this cheese, Mr. Temple's Binham Blue from North Norfolk, from a little, a tiny little farm next to Wells, next to the sea. So right on the North Norfolk coast, beautiful little farm, award-winning cheese, always wins gold every year in the Great Taste Awards, and that's the reason we use it.
So these are just the cooked biscuits that we showed you earlier. So then we also serve these with a pumpkin seed and white raisin loaf. So sort of make a batter with some buttermilk and then bake this with the pumpkin seed. And then before we slice them and then dry them out. So the apples just come out of the oven. And now we're going to place it directly on the cheese so that the guests can eat it together, cut through it and use the biscuits. And then with all the trimmings, we make a sort of gastrique. So we make that, use apple juice with vinegar, reduce it right down to a syrup, so it's quite acidic. And then we just finish that on top of the apple. So there we have our cheese course here at Mark Poynton at Caistor Hall. So we've got the local Binham blue cheese, caramelised spiralised apple, served with leftover sourdough crackers, oat cakes, and our pumpkin seed and white raisin loaf.
I think chasing a Michelin star for any young or older chef is always going to be a bit of a poison chalice. You should never chase a Michelin star, you should chase something that doesn't exist, which is perfection. And if you want to serve the best food you can in the best surroundings, you need to start with the best ingredients and you need to taste your fucking food. Most chefs do not taste their own food. And once you get past that concept, because it's important that you sit in your own restaurant and taste your food, because it's different to tasting it on the pass. Once you get over that and do that, then you'll get somewhere close to being, you know, having a Michelin star. Ancient Shepherd's is a 500-year-old pub, so we're sympathetic to that. We've got wooden floors, beams, slate tables, open kitchen. So they do the same thing, but just in a different way. We do taste the menu only, and today we're going to showcase 2 dishes with my head chef, Chris Lee, who is just here.
Hello. Today I will be cooking for you our Hogget dish, which is Hogget, local Hogget, haggis, neeps and tatties. Okay, so first of all, to start the haggis ragu, what we need to do is just get some vegetables, equal quantities of onions, carrot and celery. So they'll be going into the robo coupe to get blitzed up, and then we just pulse the vegetables. We're gonna now obviously cook the vegetables, just get some nice color on the veg. Good strong olive oil, in with the veg. While that's cooking, we're going to start the swede puree. So the swede puree is diced swede in the butter, 10% butter. We have the ragu ticking over. We're going to do that so it's nice and golden brown, and add some tomato puree. And then we have the pickled turnip to go with the individual ragus that we served. Stage of this, we do the baked swede. So all you need for the baked swede is a little bit of sea salt on some foil. Take the swede, humble vegetable, pour that up, make sure you're nice. You don't want any holes in this so it can steam. Onto a tray and just pop it in your nice clean oven, because chef cleaned it for the camera. The swede will take about 8 hours. So obviously just keep an eye on it, obviously a smaller swede, 5 to 6 hours. What it'll come out looking like is this lovely little puppy. So this is the swede that's been baked yesterday. Then what we're gonna do is just peel it off. So that's the peeled swede. So it's nice and tender, you'll see it's blistered a little bit around the outside. And what we're going to do is just cut that into nice slices. Keep all the trimmings, you can add that to the puree, or you can keep it for a stew, or as we use here for the staff, with the importance of staff feeding. So obviously this is the swede puree cooking down. You can add veg stock, you can add lamb stock, but obviously this is obviously because of the swede and the butter, it emulsifies together. We'll then blitz that. While it's blitzing, you add another 10% butter to it. The lovely cannon of Hogget, a little bit of seasoning into the pan. And then what we want to do is just render this fat down. We're cooking this on a medium heat, about 4 or 5 on the stove if you could shoot. And what you want to do is just put a little bit of thyme, and then just literally just let it cook. While that's just sealing off nicely to render the fat down, we've just added the tomato puree to the haggis ragu. And then all we're going to do is add to that is a litre of good cooking red wine. Stir that through. I'll leave that now to reduce all the way down. So obviously back to the Hogget. So what we've done is we've got a nice colour on it. I just colour it all the way around. So into the oven in the same pan. We're on 20% steam just to keep it moist. 170 degrees, which we'll just pop that up to 180. And we'll set a timer for 7 minutes. Okay, so we'll just run through everything now that we've done with the dish. We've added the haggis, which you saw, so we reduced the ragu down with the red wine and some stock. Then when that was reduced down, still nice and moist and some liquid in it, we've just flaked the haggis through it. We've blitzed the Swede puree. You've got the pickled turnips, which the turnips have been diced. And then we have the lamb stock. We haven't shown you this. We've roasted the chopped bones really, really nice and small. Taken the lamb bones out. And then what we've done is we've done a base of carrot, onion and celery, caramelised that again, very similar to the ragu. Added some tomato puree, added some red wine, pop the bones in and then cover with a reduced beef stock, lamb stock. Then we've got the Swede here, some mashed potato, we have the lamb, and all we're going to do now is just put that back on, just warm the fat a little bit, and then we're just going to add the Swede to it to get it caramelised off. And then we're going to start plating. So first of all, we put the Swede puree on. We'll have the caramelised Swede, and we just go in half with the lamb. A little bit of salt, nice and pink. So we have the haggis ragu, just in the bottom of the bowl. The pickled turnips on top of the haggis. So it gives it a little bit of texture, just as that you eat through it. And then just some potato on top. Smooth the potato off nicely. And then just a little bit of pepper on top. And then obviously we'll finish with the lamb gravy, which we'll serve at the table in front of the customer.
So there we have the roasted Suffolk Hogget with Swede, haggis, neeps and tatties. So next dish we're plating is the burnt orange and seaweed cured cod with a caramelised orange puree and a tomato and burnt chilli ponzu. A nice even circle of the caramelised orange puree is going to hold the ponzu sauce in the middle. So the cod has been brined in 900 grams of water and 90 grams of Maldon sea salt. And then we freeze it at -25 degrees and we slice it from frozen and let it thaw out. And then we brush the cod with a citrus oil. We flood the plate with the tomato ponzu, which is made from a tomato consomme reduced by half, mixed with dashi, soy sauce, mirin and rice wine. And then we finish the dish with a burnt chili oil. So we blowtorch bird's eye chilies until they're as black as you can get. And then we blitz those with a compound dill oil. So that sort of balances the flavour out. And then we just add 5 drops because this is very hot. So there we have burnt orange and seaweed cured cod with tomato and burnt chili ponzu and caramelised orange puree. We are very much a close team between both restaurants. We do all talk together. We spend days off together. Sometimes we eat out together. I think with doing that, then that creates a good culture in itself where people are happy to go to work, happy to be able to come to me with dishes and treat it like their own.